Welcome to today's video. I want to share a story with you. You see, if you are hungry and you want to eat food, you are almost dying, you're dying of hunger, you want to eat food, you probably just see a restaurant that you see by the road. You enter the restaurant, you buy the food and you eat. All right, because you are famished and you don't want to die of hunger. But if you are not that hungry, you just want to eat, you want to eat food and you have the money, you will not just enter any restaurant that you see by the road. Um, you have a picture of the kind of restaurant you want to eat at, right? Why? Because you have the money and you want to have a better experience of the food you are eating. So it's not just when you are visiting Black Bells, you are visiting maybe the place or some other high-end restaurant. It's not just about the food. What you are going there for is not just to eat. Is the experience. You are aware you will pay more for the food, but you want to you want to eat there. Why? Because it's all about status. It's the status of that place, and you know that that place will give you a better experience. That's the same thing with businesses today. Um, you want to set up your business to have a high status. You want your business reputation to precede your business. In the same way, you want your own reputation as a personal brand to precede you, especially if you're a one man mopo, you are a solopreneur, you want your reputation to precede you. That is how you differentiate yourself from everyday businessman and become the entrepreneur or the business people want to associate with. The thing is that people don't just buy into products. They don't just buy products for the sake of buying products, just for the functionality of the product, especially if they are premium customers, if they are people with money. They're not just buying products for the functionality of it. They are buying products. They are buying into the mission. They are buying into status. They are buying into the experience. They want to experience better things. They are buying into into the status that associating with the product will confer on them. That's what they are buying. All right. That's what they are buying. So it's not just about your product. It's the fact that when they associate with your brand, will their status increase or will it decrease? So now you see that it's more about perception of your brand. It's more about what people think about your brand. It's more about um, what your product will say about them. When they buy your product, will they be seen by their peers as looking cheap? Or will they be seen as by their peers as being premium, as being rich? When they buy a product, will they be seen as being a local person or as being an international audience, an international person? So it's all about what status will your product confer on them. So if your audience are pricing your product like commodity, just pricing it anyhow, maybe they can afford to do that because of the perception of your brand. Maybe they can afford to do that because your brand has not yet been positioned. You've not worked on your brand positioning. And if you don't work on something, something is working on your brand. All right. If you don't work on taking care of your garden, weeds will automatically grow out of it. Is either you control your brand positioning or the market dictates your brand positioning. So if you don't decide on building a brand that confers status on its ecosystem, then people would see your brand as a cheap, everyday Me Too brand. And you only be able to attract people who need that product very urgently so that they will not die. You see, there are three reasons why people buy. Yeah, so let's go into the details. There are three mechanisms of persuasion. Three mechanisms of persuasion. Number one is desire. Number two is status. And number three is belief. The highest is belief. Number one is desire. People buy because they desire something. They desire a solution to a problem. They have pain, problem, things they are struggling with, suffering from, and they want a solution to it. Or they just desire to acquire things. They desire to have things that they do not have. That's a primal reason. That's a primary reason. That is a fundamental reason people buy. If they don't desire it, they'll most likely not buy it except they are being undoing forced to buy it. They're being strong armed to buy it. No, they buy things because they desire it. All right, like that man that is hungry, almost dying, famished. Most likely, if he sees any restaurant by the roadside, the man will just enter and then buy food, even though he doesn't like the quality of the environment and the food. Just eat and let me live for another day. Right? That's desire. So many times you want to have a hungry audience, an audience that have a strong desire. You want to get your audience to this place where they have a strong desire for a solution that your product is providing. So that's the number one thing that you want to ensure. This is the foundation. Without this, nothing else makes sense. You want to ensure that you get your brand, you want to serve hungry audience. The best asset you would have, the best thing that will happen to your business is if your business has an audience that is very hungry and very underserved. All right, that your big competitors are not even thinking about them. These guys are hungry, underserved, but more importantly, they have big money because you can serve. Your audience can be hungry, underserved, but they don't have the capacity to pay you premium price. So it doesn't matter whether or not they desire the product, they'll still price it cheap. So you want to serve those who are hungry. Your audience should be large enough, very hungry, has big pain. Hungry means they have big pain, big problem, big desire for the solution. The solution to the problem that they have, that your products provide, right? This and they have big money to pay for that solution, and they are willing to pay the big money for that big solution that your big product solves for their big problem and pain. So that's the first thing you want to ensure that that's taken care of. So once that is taken care of, the next reason people buy is because of status. So desire is not enough because you are not the only, except you are a monopoly. So desire could be enough. If you are a monopoly, there's no other place they are going to. They have to come to you and buy from you. But if you are not a monopoly, then you want to go beyond just satisfying their desire, all right, to ensuring that you raise their status. Your product, your brand, associating with your brand should raise their status, not decrease their status. It doesn't matter, and it all is all about how you frame it. It's all about how you frame your products, how you frame your offer, the positioning, the differentiation, how you make yourself different. And it doesn't matter the price you're selling, but you just have to be different, have to matter to to the kind of audience that you are serving. If you are creating a product that is a premium price product, you want to ensure that you are serving audience that have big money to pay for it. If you are creating a product that's not necessarily premium price, because it's not about just increasing the price, you want to have audience that are addicted to that brand, and that status also comes to play. Even if the price is not so very high, status still comes to play. They want to be proud that they are associated with a brand that is innovative, a brand that's catering to Gen Z, especially if that is what your brand is. A brand, there must be something that get them attached to your brand, that increase their status, that get butterfly to run through their stomach when they hear about your brand. So you want to increase that perception in the mind of your audience, increasing the status of your brand. That is what makes your brand an audience of one. That's what makes your brand different. That's what makes your brand unique, a unicorn among every other brands. Every other brands are just general brands, but your brand has a sense of identity that it confers on its audience. That is what you want to get to that place. And then the next mechanism of persuasion is belief, because for them to even believe that your product can solve their problem, all right, can satisfy their desire, and it can get them to have that status. For them to come to that point, they have to believe, and yeah, they have to believe that your product will do what it says it will do. Your product will give them the status that they want to see. All right, you want to work on. So belief is all about the sequence of how you present the order and the sequence of how you present your offer to the audience. So that is what that's how you create beliefs. Because when you create belief, people will trust your brand even when your brand messes up. People know that people will give excuse. They will go all the way to give excuse for why others should still stick to your brand despite your mistakes. That's when you are building a cult like type of audience, because you have presented your message in such a way that your brand is almost indispensable. All right, that's a very high level way of selling that you want to get to. But what I'm dealing with here is that you must ensure that at at the core of your mission is raising the status of your brand before your audience. Because think about it, anybody can buy a bag just to keep his wallet and put his phone inside, put the keys inside. The same bag can cost $30. Bag does not have name. Any person into fashion that makes bag can make that kind of bag and sell it for $30, $50. But if you want to buy the same bag at the same bag, it can even be the same quality, the same leather, all right, being sold by Louis Vuitton. Same bag that someone bought for $50 can be bought for $3,000. All right, because it has a name, a recognizable name. That's the name people knows, people associate with. So when anybody is buying that bag, they're not just buying the bag because they want to put keys and watches. I don't want to put keys, wallets, phone inside the bag. No, they are buying the bag because of the name. What they are buying is the name. What that audience is buying is the name, right? Because people have ego. People want to, especially people who have the kind of money that you're selling your product for. If you're selling a high-end product, they have they have ego. They want to satisfy um, they want to have some form of status in the society. They want other people's validation. And whether or not you think that I don't want other people's validation, you probably are buying something because of other people's validation also. Right? Oh, somebody say, no, I'm buying my product. I'm not buying an expensive car because I don't want people to see me as too flashy, as too greedy, as too I don't want people to see me as flashy, as greedy, as all of that. You are still seeking the validation of people. The reason why you are still buying that lower end car is because of the status, right? It's because of the status. So whether they are saying that they are buying the high end car for recognition, or they are buying the lower end car still for recognition, not to be attacked, not to be criticized, they are still thinking about the validation of people. And most human beings make their decisions based on this, whether they want a high validation of themselves or they just want to av- avoid criticism of themselves. It's still about what people think about them. Only a few people are careful. They don't care whether you're criticizing them or not. Only a very few people think about that. Most people buy stuff for the validation of others. And if you are aware of that information, then you want to ensure that your product is positioned to be the kind of product that people want to associate with, so that others can validate their insecurities. That is what you want to do. You want to get to that point. So how do you get to the point? How do you build a strong perception for your brand? How do you build a strong perception for your brand, a high status for your business that gets people to want to associate with your brand? Because yeah, you'll be selling to repeat customers, your um, um, most aware audience, people who already know your product, that they know your product does what it says it will do, and they don't care, they just buy your product, they are your addicted fans. But like I said in one of my videos, the largest audience you'll be selling to are the cold audience, people who have not yet associated with your brand. But these people you can create such a perception that even before people associate with your brand, they already love your brand. Why? Because your your status precedes you. Yeah, the status of your brand precedes their relationship with your brand. That's what the Queen of Sheba in the Bible said about Solomon. He said, "Half of it was not told me." So um, she had heard a lot about the wisdom of Solomon. She had heard about the great things the king of Israel was doing. So she came in to prove it. So the cold audience, people who have not yet associated with your brand, they should have heard so much about your brand. They are already falling in love with your brand even before they associate with your brand. That is what you want to ensure. So, how do you get to that point? It's not just by suddenly increase the price. Let me increase the price so that I also will be seen like the high end, expensive audience, expensive brands out there, so that people will say that this guy is great. There's a there is a positive effect to increasing your price, because if you are the cheapest, nobody expects that you be the best. But it's not just about beginning to increase your price. No, you can increase the price all you want. People will still not buy from your brand, especially if your brand does not have a good perception, or if your brand um, does not have a good positioning in the mind of the audience. So, what are you supposed to do? I'm going to take from the 5 P's of the Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. All right, but I will explain it in a simpler way. The 5 P's are your pitch, you publish, you raise your pitch, you increase your publishing, you raise your profile, your product, and partnership. All right. I don't have to go through that. I might just pick pitch, publish, profile. So that means the way you craft your message, what your brand does, the what your brand does, the way you craft that message is the number one thing. That is the pitch. What is your brand known for? When people want to associate with your brand, what is that one statement, one slogan they can say about your brand? What's that one thing they know about your brand? What's that one statement? What's that one thing that they can take on as an identity with your brand? What is your brand known for? What is the core messaging of your brand? So that is the pitch. You want to work on that. You want to elevate that. It has to be clear to everyone in your ecosystem, clear to your employee, clear to your customers, to the retailers, the middlemen. It has to be clear. What is this brand known for? What is the mission? All right. That's number one. Then publishing. You want to publish content that shows, that communicate the mission, the values, communicates how your product solves the problems, the pain of customers. You want to publish case studies. These are the proofs. These are the proofs of th- these are the proof that these are the media that communicate that your product does what it says it does. All right. You want to have proof that what I said I do. What this product does is genuine. This product actually works. So you want to have case studies, testimonials, reviews. You want to publish them. The more people watch your content, the more they feel that they are already associating with you before they even get to meet you. All right. Before the more they watch your content, the more they or learn about your mission, your values, the more they see that messaging, that speech that we're talking about, the more they learn about it, the more it feels as though they've already known you for a long time. It feels as though they've already bought from your brand, even though they've not bought anything. All right, they feel that a kind of a kindred spirit with your brand. So you want to publish, but it matters what to publish. You publish content that shapes the positioning of your brand, the kind of perception you want your brand to have in the mind of your audience. That messaging is what you begin to publish. How your brand, the mission, your brand, how your brand intends to change the world, the story of your brand, the story of your customers, how your brand, how your products change the life of each one of the customer that are associated with the brand. That positioning, the kind of customers your brand has already is already associated with. You want to publish their stories. These are the things that shapes perception of your audience about your brand. So you want to publish. Then increase your profile. You want to increase your profile. All right. So it's not enough just for you to publish on your social media. You want to publish on traditional medias, on billboards, everywhere. You want people to just know that you are everywhere. You want to have more eyeballs. All right. So what are the recognized media, traditional media in your society? You want to publish there on billboards. When people see your brand on billboard, they think this is a luxurious brand. Even though you may not be able to measure the unlike Facebook ad, Instagram ad, you may not be able to measure the cost per acquisition, but there's an indirect value it adds to your brand. So you want to raise your profile, you want to raise the profile of your brand. When your brand, that's what to do. On billboard, on traditional media, you want to go on television, you want to be invited to different shows on TV. When people begin to see the attractive character, all right, the entrepreneur, you that you are promoting the brand, when they begin to see you everywhere on their TVs, on their newspaper, on their magazines, on their billboards, your brand begin to gain traction, gain attention of people. It seems this brand has something up their sleeves that they want to show us, they want to showcase to the world. That is what you do. You raise the profile of yourself, personal brand, and of course, you drag your brand, your business to that. When you raise your own profile, you'll be able to raise the profile of your brand. All right. The messaging you have Nike, just do it. Tesla is all about changing, saving the environment. All right. Clean energy. All right. So your brand should have something. Apple is all about innovation. For the rebel, the misfits. All right, it's all about innovation. People must have something they rally about around your business for. You must give it to them. All right, pitch, publish, profile, products. That means you must have good products ready to be sold. All right, your offer. That's what they are buying in the first place. And then partnership. You want to partner with people that have bigger status than your brand. Influencer marketing. All right, partner with influencers, partner with podcasters, partner with affiliates, joint ventures, people that investors, people that will take your brand from one place to another. You want to do that. So these are the things that you will do in your own personal brand and of course with your business brand. If you can raise the status of your personal brand, it will have a ripple effect on your business brand. That's what you want to do. You want to elevate the image, the quality of what you present to the audience. All right. Your visuals, your website, the content you create should look premium. You want to do that. You don't do amateur branding signals or cheap service. The packaging. You want to package your brand as the luxury brand, right? So your website, if it used to be an amateur website, Doesn't matter if you are selling the best product, people will think that you are not a luxurious brand. So you want to make your website a high quality website, and you can work with me to achieve that. All right. You want to have great visuals, high quality visuals. I'm working on that also. All right. I think I still need to have another light to make my own video of better quality. You want to do that for your business also. Your content should look great. All right. You want to have authority. You want to have proof. You want to showcase authority, case studies, testimonials, client results. All right. You want to review that authority is currency. When people begin to see you as an authority, if you are a consultant, then they want to consult with you, because nobody wants to consult with a brand that does not know what it's doing, with a consultant that does not know what it's doing. So you want to showcase that you've worked with people. The result you are promising to this brand, you want to showcase that you've done it for others. If you have done it for others, even though they don't know the people you've done it for, people would believe you. All right. They would believe that you can do it for them also. That's where belief also comes into place. So you want to showcase authority. The language, that's the pitch. The language of leadership. How do you communicate? How do you pass your message across? All right. Because you are looking to penetrate into the emotion of your audience. Don't talk and well, depending on the kind of brand you are building. All right. Building a luxury brand, that means you are not partnering with um in Nigeria, what we call area boys, to be the face of your brand. All right. So, and you don't talk like hustlers. Don't talk like you are desperate. No, you start talking like a market leader. You start your communication should pass a message across to your audience that you know what you are doing. Why do you think I'm making this podcast? It's for that same reason. So you want to work on your communication, your association, your partnership, the influencers you work with, the people, the kind of customers that you sell your product to. You want to do that. And more importantly, you want to be consistent. Consistency in doing this. Not that you do it for 1 week and then for the next 3 weeks in the month, you don't publish any content again. You don't, nobody sees you. The next 3, 6 months, 1 year, nobody sees you associating with other with influencers, with others that can help raise your profile. Nobody sees you on TV again, on billboard again. All of that doesn't make sense. All right. The more you work on this consistently, the more you begin to see results. Your reputation will begin to precede you. Your personal reputation begin to precede you as you build your personal brand. Your business reputation will begin to precede your business. Even the code leads who have not yet um, bought anything from your brand before, they move from being code leads to feeling that they are the fan, feeling themselves, taking themselves as a fan of your brand, right? They begin to salivate when they see your product. I think I need to get this product. Even if they don't have the money presently, they begin to dream about when they'll be able to associate with your brand. That's the kind of flex you want a brand to have. All right, that people are proud to associate themselves with your brand. So it's not just that they're just buying the product for the immediate need, consumption, just to satisfy the hunger. No, they are buying into your product because of the experience, because of the status they feel. They feel proud. All right, they think you are doing them a favor by selling your product to them. That is the kind of place you want to get to. All right, so this is the kind of place you want to get to. When your brand get to this place, nobody begin to question the price of your product. You don't get to this high-end luxurious brand, you don't get into their shop and then question on their website and then begin to price the website, price the price of the products. No, you buy it at the stated price. Why? Because you know that these are luxurious brand in the first place. All right, so that is the place your brand want to get to, and you do this with your own personal brand, which is very much important, and then it will have a ripple effect on your business brand. I hope you've learned something in today's video.